Symphony number 2, a symphony that celebrates resolve. Despite setbacks, our lives can be successful, joyful, meaningful, as long as we never give up, no matter what happens. I got to tell you about my daughter Anna. Her dream is to sing a lead role in a Broadway musical in New York. I had the joy just a couple of days ago of hearing her sing over in Firehouse Theater over in Lowry. The company she's with is doing a Christmas musical review. Just a few weeks ago, I saw her in a musical over in Aurora at Vintage Theater doing curtains. She's not yet in New York. I believe she will be one day. I remember when her dream was born. She was a little 4 or 5 years old. I told her I was going to take her down to the Betcher Concert Hall to see a concert presented by Jodie Benson. Jodie Benson, of course, was the actress who voiced Ariel, the Little Mermaid, in that Disney film, came out in 1988-89, called The Little Mermaid. You remember that movie? Yeah, I remember that. Well, Anna knew that movie forwards and backwards, inside out, upside down. And when I told her that I was going to take her down to see Jodie Benson in concert, she was over the moon, couldn't wait to go. So the night came. She put on her little pink dress, put on my purple tie, took her little arm, put it on mine, and off we went on our date down to Betcher Hall. We had great seats. If you're in the audience, I'm on the stage. Our seats were stage right, up in the balcony. So Anna could lean on the rail right down on Jodie Benson as she talked about her. She sang about being part of our world. Great concert, thoroughly enjoyed it. But the highlight of the night came after the concert. Now, when you and I go down to Betcher Hall, we enjoy a performance, then the singers are whisked off into the wings, never to be seen again. Not that night. That night, Jodie Benson put on her concert, whisked off into the wings, but then she went right back around to the lobby to interact with all of her young fans. Now picture the scene. Here's Jodie Benson, now this famous movie star, Broadway actress, on her knees, out in the lobby, surrounded by all these little 4, 5, 6, 8, 10-year-old girls who were looking up at her, just adoring her. And she was just loving on them right back. Beautiful scene. Magical moment. And I'm sure that was the night that Anna decided she wanted to be a Broadway actress. She wanted to be Jodie Benson, for heaven's sake. Well, let's fast forward a couple of years. Anna's now in 2nd grade. She's invited to join the Colorado Children's Chorale. You heard of the Children's Chorale? Colorado Children's Chorale? Did you know that the Children's Chorale's home venue is the Betcher Hall? Yeah, that's where they do the bulk of their concerts. Well, the time came for Anna to have her first concert there with the Children's Chorale down at Betcher Hall. So she's getting dressed, getting all excited about going down there, and she remembered that she'd seen Jodie Benson on that same stage. She looked up at me with her big brown eyes and said, "Dad, I might even breathe some of the same air as Jodie Benson." Yeah, she actually said that. Well, let's fast forward again. Through 7 years with the Children's Chorale, through middle school, through high school, all the way up to now Anna's a senior down here at Arapahoe High. And by now, she's a pretty good singer. In fact, she was invited to be part of Colorado's All-State High School Choir twice. But singing alone was not her dream. What she really wanted to do was sing that lead role in a Broadway-style musical. So for all of those years, she'd been to audition after audition after audition after audition to be part of these Broadway-style musicals, both with her schools and with community theater, like Firehouse, like Vintage, like Performance Now over in Lakewood, like Town Hall down in Livingston. And she'd been in a whole bunch of these productions over the years, but she'd always been in the chorus. She'd never had that lead role that she wanted so badly. Now she's a senior. You know what that means. There's no one else who's older than her whose turn it is to have the lead role. So she's really sure, she's confident this is her time. She's going to have that lead role, that role of Lola in Damn Yankees in the spring production at Arapahoe High School. So she auditions, and yeah, sure enough, she got into the production, but again, that lead role was one other actress away. I remember her disappointment when the casting went up. And I remember thinking to myself, one could be forgiven for coming to the conclusion after all that. Maybe she really didn't have the chops. Maybe her singing, dancing, and acting really weren't good enough to have a lead role in a Broadway-style musical. One would be wrong. Anna graduated from Arapahoe High that spring, and in that fall, She went up here to Casper, Wyoming, with a scholarship to study musical theater up there at Casper College. And one of her first challenges at Casper College was to audition for their fall musical, which was going to be Crazy for You. Now, have you ever heard of Crazy for You? Those of you who have heard my speech before have heard of Crazy for You. But if you hadn't, I've never heard of Crazy for You. I knew nothing about it. Turns out Crazy for You was a pretty big deal. I'll tell you about that here in just a minute. But for now, let me just say that finally, Anna won that lead role in Crazy for You. She won the role of Polly Baker, the female lead in Crazy for You. Great moment in her life. And as great as that moment was, there was more. See, this is where I tell you about Crazy for You. Crazy for You had opened on Broadway on February 16th, 1992, and ran for 1,622 performances over the course of 4 years. And it was good enough to win a Tony Award for Best Musical. Now, during that very successful 4-year run on Broadway, the female lead, the role of Polly Baker, had been played by Jody Benson. So, through Polly Baker, Anna's first lead role, she got to actually be her childhood hero, Jody Benson. How cool is that? Well, that wasn't the end of the story for Anna. She went on to other lead roles as large as Maria in The Sound of Music, for heaven's sake. But what if she'd given up after high school? What if she'd never auditioned for Crazy for You up there at Casper College? Every one of those failed auditions along the way was an obstacle for her. A pothole, a boulder, a detour she had to take. Had she elected not to persevere over, under, around, or through every obstacle that stood in her way, her dream would have died. And I wouldn't have seen her in Firehouse Theater. I would have seen her at Vintage Theater, and she certainly would never make it to Broadway. So I think if she were here tonight, she'd ask you these questions. How's your second symphony sounding tonight? Where are you in the process of creating the best representation of your true self? What obstacles are you facing tonight? Finally, have you failed lately? If not, why not? Are you really that good? Or are you just not trying hard enough? Symphony that